Have you ever said no, not now, to somebody? I have. What reaction did you get? I want to talk about this pattern I've spotted, and I want to share about that. And so before I do that, I'm just going to say I am sharing about a pattern, not a person. I'm not someone who weaponizes videos and aims them at other people. I hate that. I see that a lot on here, where people will use videos to have an argument between each other. I'm not that person, and I won't do that. I've lived for 45 years. I've lived a lot of life, and I've met a lot of people. And I spot patterns. That's what I do. I have a brain that's wired that way. So this pattern I've spotted is that I've had a shift. I used to be a yes person. Someone would ask me to do something. I would prioritize them and I would drop everything that I was doing, regardless of how important it was. I would just drop everything because they were my priority. I had said yes and I will go and do it. I was everybody's bitch, basically. I ran around serving them, putting everyone before me. That all changed when I got poorly, when I got chronic illness, because I was forced to change. I don't think I'd have ever changed that. I was conditioned to do that from being a kid. That was who I was, what my life was. I never questioned it. But when I got poorly, chronic illness, all of a sudden there were consequences to dropping everything and going and using my energy for others. It meant I didn't have my energy left for me. And I was getting hurt. Every time I dropped something and used myself up to do something for someone else, I would then be given a payment in terms of excruciating pain, fatigue, and days and days and days of debilitation and just horrific. You can't even imagine. I don't know. I mean, I'm an adult and I would have to get my husband to help me get dressed. I'm an adult and he would have to push me up the stairs because I couldn't climb the stairs myself. I'm an adult and I couldn't stand up long enough to cook a meal. I brought up 2 kids. I'm a mum. I couldn't do the basics. And that was because I was running around using the whole of what I got energy-wise to try to still do this thing of saying yes to everyone. So my illness has changed me. It has made me a different person. And now the first thing I do when someone asks me to do something is check in with myself. I start with myself. A person can say, do this. And I will say, hang on. There's a pause here. Hang on. I need to check in with my body, which is the vehicle I travel the world in, and the vehicle through which your thing will happen if it's possible for it to, if I've got the fuel for it, if I'm in a state of repair where I can do that. I'm a bit of an old banger, really. So what I do now, the process is flipped, I suppose. I don't start with the priorities and the needs of the other person. I start with how I am in that moment. I talk a lot about being and doing. I can want to do something desperately. I can have all of the energy, the desire, the passion, everything to do that thing. But if I don't have the energy for it, if what I am in that moment is not a state that will enable me to do that thing, then I have to say no, not now. I just do. So I check in with myself. I check my energy. Someone asked me to do something. I check in with myself. I see if I've got the energy. If I have, I can say yes. And if I haven't, I say no, not now. I'm a person who still wants to help. I'm a kind person. I'm a thoughtful person. I'm a person who loves my friends and family and the circle I have around me. And I'm not a person who shuts others down, but I am a person who now knows how to look after themselves. And so no is more of a thing in my life now than it ever has been before. And interestingly, people only hear the no. They don't hear the thing that qualifies the no, which is the no, not now. When people hear no, they seem to shut down at no. They don't seem to go any further. They don't seem to go, no, not now. Oh, okay, she might be able to do it later. They hear no, and then the systems set in process, I'm going to convince you to do it stuff. And if I can't convince you to do it, I'm going to fall out with you. And if falling out with you doesn't work, I'm going to tell you all about all the ways you're hurting me because you're saying no to me. And I'm going to make you feel guilty, and then you'll do it. And then, if the guilt doesn't work and all of that, then I'm going to start to use our relationship as a lever. If you don't do it, our relationship's over. People are really determined when they want to get what they want. This has been a massive learning curve for me. Because when someone gets to that point when they are so determined to get what they want that they can no longer hear that what they want would cause me harm, then that's when I also start to question whether the interaction with this person is okay and healthy for me. If someone is willing to use me up and use me as a resource and use me up to that extent, then actually it doesn't seem worth it anymore. And that is so interesting. I don't think I have ever made choices about relationships like this. Ever. I was just grateful for friendship. But now I have a process where I can judge whether that friendship is healthy for me. Whether I am considered as a part of it. Whether I am an equal in it. Whether I'm seen in it. Anyway. I just thought it was interesting to share. And I'd like to keep sharing my learning about this because I think that putting boundaries, which is basically what this is, no, not now is a boundary. Putting boundaries in place doesn't only happen for me, it happens for the other person. The other person has a reaction and then that cycles back to me and I have to manage the reaction of the other person. And so I'm learning about that too. I'm learning about being able to hold the core of what I need, stable, not move, stick to what I know because I know it's good for me and healthy for me. And I'll, I suppose, just keep sharing this stuff. Yeah. I suppose, how do I summarise this? This has ended up being a very long video. No, not now is a boundary that's important. In terms of self-preservation and survival, it's not about someone else. It's not a judgment on whether what they need is valid, whether they're a nice person. It's not a rejection of them. It's something I own, and I feel that other people need to own their reactions to no too. And that it's still okay to put those boundaries in place, because eventually, if I say no, not now, it might mean that I can still do that thing later and I can do it better for the person. I'm thinking more bigger picture and not instantaneous moments. It's a shift, a mindset shift, an important one. Yeah. Funny when you've just shared a story about an experience and it doesn't really have a, this is what you do with this. Maybe you'll know what you could do with this. Maybe just me sharing my story will have ignited some thoughts for you. I hope so anyway. If not, you've just heard me talking for about 9 minutes. Thank you for staying. Anyway, take care. Have a good day. Look after yourselves. Prioritise you. Yeah. Mwah.